Dear family Furdui, Cami, Petru, Lea, Albert, Ruben, Natalia, Estera, Naomi and David, dear extended family Furdui, and dear super extended family Furdui, all of you here, all of you everywhere watching and praying for this event and for the Furdui family. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make His face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn His face towards you and give you peace. Amen, amen. You might be thinking that in a well-organized society as Germany, in a well-oiled system for the protection of the rights of the children and their family, mistakes cannot occur. It just can't happen. Well, I'm here to witness that systems do fail. Systems are operated by humans, and humans now and then do make mistakes. Small people, small mistakes. Big, powerful people, big mistakes with great consequences. We are the Bodnariu family. For 11 years, we lived peacefully in the small community of Naustdal on the west coast of Norway. As parents, we lived for our children. It was not a sacrifice. It was a way of living that we fully enjoyed and cherished. Absolutely everything was well with all of us until 6 years ago when the Norwegian Jugendamt, Barnevernet, removed our 5 children. After 7 months of legal battle, after thousands and tens of thousands that took the streets as you do here today, a wise and fair judge forced the Barnevernet to let go of our children. Here. I want to present you why the Norwegian Barnevernet is in many ways very much similar to the German Jugendamt, and most important, why the present case of the Furdui family should lead to similar outcome as the Bodnariu case did. Just some of the similarities. With no prior warning, no case history, no social investigation, no confrontation, just out of nowhere, the Barnevernet proceed to remove our 5 children in total shock, both for us and the children. It literally is so shocking that it's impossible to humanly describe. It propels you in a subhuman state, making you feel less worth than an animal. The exact same thing happened to Cami and Petru and their 7 children. They lied to the children that they will be away for just hours and drove them hours away with a predetermined plan not to return them. They lied to them, to us and the court, that the children agreed and somehow were happy for it. It is hard to describe and measure the amount of pain the Jugendamt inflicted the Furdui children, separating them from their parents and from each other. They split our children apart in 3 different care units. The same did Jugendamt to the Furdui children. This is traumatizing to a great extent and has potential to permanently damage the well-being of the children. It is illegal. It is against their best interest. This measure is completely out of balance and proportion to whatever the Jugendamt is supposed to defend as purpose. Ruth could have been placed with baby Ezekiel in a supervised facility operated by the government for exactly this purpose, to protect the bond between the mother and the infant, who at that age is so dependent on so many levels on its mother. Instead, they brutally separated them. The same happened to Camelia and little Lea. There is plenty of scientific evidence stating that a baby at that age should not be separated from its mother more hours than its age in months. Lea was 15 months. She shouldn't have been separated from Camelia for more than 15 hours. It's 10 months today, 278 days, 6,672 hours of agony and separation. Again, Science says this can cause permanent trauma and even physical and psychological damage. It followed months of inhumane conditions for limited visitation time. We were not allowed to speak Romanian to our children. Why would these institutions would sacrifice children's rights, claiming they are protecting them? To make it worse, the Jugendamt can call off meetings whenever they want without feeling necessary to make it up for the loss by setting new meetings to recover the time. Our children were carelessly and abruptly separated from their friends, of which many in the Christian community in which they've been raised. They've been denied contact with the extended family. This hurts a lot. It's depressing. The same the Furdui children had to endure. How can you evaluate the family in these circumstances and purposely subject the children to interrogation and intimidation? They accused us of radically indoctrinating our children in our belief and beating them up for this purpose. All this behind closed doors and hidden notes. Officially, our case had nothing to do with religion, though religious discrimination was all over it. The same is for the Furdui family. They are simply deemed unfit for society for not sharing the views of the majority. How inclusive is that? How diverse? No cooperation whatsoever, no plan for recovery of our family, no measures of help. As we did, and to greater extent, the Furdui family tried by its own to find help and convince the system that are willing to cooperate and conform to whatever would bring their children back. They've been sentenced before trial and rendered unrecoverable, unable to change. What did you do, Jugendamt? Except for 10 long, painful months to prepare a coffin for this family, trying hard to bury them deep so no one can trace anything anymore. They dragged the case over 7 months, delaying procedures, blocking access to third-party specialists that could have done positive observations on our family, withhold evidence, lying, purposely misinterpreted our children's interests, and hided their outcry. Many other outrageous atrocities against us and our children. The same happened to the Furdui family. It so seems the Jugendamt is operating on a Barnevernet recipe. The outcome in the Furdui case, thus, should be the same as in our case and as following. All the children should come back together to their family immediately. That's what non-biased, right in their minds with both brain and heart, experts and professionals recommended it should be done in our case. A fair judge decided to follow this advice against the persistent, unjustified, and destructive will of the Barnevernet. Can we find a real professional to truly evaluate this beautiful family according to how it was before this 10 months of tragedy and torture? To take time and talk with teachers and friends and neighbors and private music teachers, doctors and educators who have been in contact with this family for years and years? Can we find a real judge to discern and appreciate things for their real value with the long-term impact it bears? Can you, Jugendamt, admit to your incompetence and unwillingness to participate in the healing of this family? Can you give up? Another outcome is that the press and the media started to dare to be free and expose such outrageous acts, letting out stories that for far too long have been kept on shelf. BBC beautifully covered our case and even returned to Norway 2 years later with a follow-up highlighting the abuses of the system. In the past 5 years, Norway had been condemned 9 times by the European Court of Human Rights for breaching Article 8 of the Human Rights Convention, the right to respect for family life, including 2 cases in the Grand Chamber. If from at least an international human rights perspective these acts are condemnable in Norway, Germany should be held accountable by the same standards. Except that Germany has time to revise its ways and put an end to the suffering of this family and the many others, including here in Basrode. It can end now, and it does not need the pain of taking them to the European Court. We are so grateful for each and every one of you, for each and every one that stood up for us. The Lord has answered. Our children are free and thankful and can enjoy a real family life that will be fundamental for them to further develop in whatever their hearts desire. We are so grateful for everyone supporting the Furdui family and these beautiful 7 children who deserve the best. May the Lord bless you, and may He answer this effort. Amen.